Hello and welcome to HobbyKing. I'm here to present to you a version 2 of a model that was out a few years ago and was rather popular at the time. It was available in 2 schemes then. We've brought it back in the more popular of the 2, but with a slight tweak to the scheme and a few little improvements. This is the Durafly Buffalo V2. So we're going to dive straight into it, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a talking to on the bench here, and then we'll go out to the field behind us on this glorious winter's day and give you a quick flight demonstration of the V2 Buffalo. Now, let's quickly talk about differences. Actually, first, let's do the spec and then we'll talk about differences. So the spec is as before. It's the same 36-inch in old money wingspan, which is 920mm span. It is plug and fly. It runs on a 1200 kV brushless outrunner on a 10-inch prop and on 3S. You can, of course, go up to 4S if you wish. But out the box it is a standard 3S setup, and that is a 40 amp speed controller in there and 4 9-gram servos. Now in terms of difference, well, first of all, the most obvious thing is the colour. Whilst it's essentially the colour that you saw in the V1, the difference here is that it's now blue instead of black, both of which are Scouse schemes. Now the major difference is that out the box this one actually flies well. The V1 was somewhat not great out the box in terms of how it performed without some modifications. Essentially that was down to thrust issues and balance issues. With the redistribution of weight and paying real attention to thrust angles, we've managed to remove all of those issues, and now out of the box, once you have your battery in and installed all the way forward, it flies really, really nicely. It's a typical banking yank model. That being said, it does have rudder, so it's a nice size for keeping fully assembled. I keep it fully assembled, as most of you will do at this size. Put it in the back of your car and just go out and fly it in your local field or local flying space if you have permission to do so there. On this setup, it's a very economical setup, 2200 3S. Most people have them. If you don't, they're very, very cheap. Again, fits into the back of the car or on the back of your bike or whatever you've got very, very easily, and stores very easily. And especially on days like this, it's really, really nice just for stooging around the field. It's got, that being said, it's got some performance to it with this setup, so we will show you that as well in the official flight demonstration. But even in a bit of wind, it copes rather well too. It is, of course, a hand launch model. Pick up the model, you get an idea of scale. When I hand launch, I typically hold from the top here. You saw me licking my fingers there. It's not because I'm gross, it's because that gives me a little more traction on the model. So you hold it on the CG and you give it an underarm throw like so. Again, as we'll demonstrate in a moment. Magnetically held hatch, I'll bring that off to show you access inside. Inside you've got the 2 servos for the rudder and elevator. That's the 2200, can you see that there? That's the 2200, pushed all the way forward for optimal balance. And the speed controller's on the side here, and obviously the motor is pre-installed along with the speed controller. Now in terms of assembly, you will need to screw on the wing and then glue on the belly pan to the wing. And then you can still easily remove the wing if you really need to for transport, but as I said, at this size you really don't need to. And then the horizontal stab itself, and I believe the part of the vertical, are glued on, but they key in, so it's just a case of applying the glue, slotting them in place and leaving them to dry overnight, because it's UHU type contact glue that you would use to assemble this model. And then there are ball links throughout, both on the elevator, of course, rudder, and on the ailerons. Those servos are pre-installed, you will just need to connect up the control horns on the rear there. And other than that, it's just about mounting the propeller. The cowl is hard plastic. It is removable by screws if you need to remove it. But as I said, out the box, it's a lot more refined and better tuned. So that means once you've done the small amount of assembly and you have it ready to go, you can fly it and be much more confident that it will fly right out of the box. So that being said, I will prove that point when we give you a demonstration over there in just a second for the official flight review of the Durafly V2 Buffalo. Okay, the sun is still shining, we're out in the field, the wind is in an awkward position, but not much wind anyway, that's okay. So hand launching the Buffalo, like so, hold it just ahead of the CG, underarm, and then apply throttle, hold a little bit of right, not really any up, just a little bit of right just to counter the rotational.
Tell us, Stuart, how do you apply throttle when you're holding it like that?
Well, you could use your chin, but you know, the tongue is much better.
I understand, yeah.
And this is how you get people to never use your radio when they see you hand launching this way. So yes, a little bit of right, and away she goes, as I will show you right now. And then we'll get into it. I'll tell you a little bit about the model as I'm flying it, a little bit about the history, because it is a scale model, for those of you that don't know. Let's get into it. Taking off. About half throttle, a little bit of right. Oh, look at that. That was just over half throttle. How are we looking on camera?
Very nice.
Now this thing does, now, you know, that it comes out of the box, properly weight distributed and with the right amount of down and side thrust, it tracks really rather nicely. I'm just cruising around just so everyone can get their bearings now. This is just on half power, passing very, very nice. Oh, sun, sorry about that.
Yeah,
I think I might take my glasses off quickly whilst it's flying along there, because, there we go, because the sun's getting a little low. Orientation is a little hard. Just give it a click and trim. Yeah, so as we were discussing earlier, just off of camera, it's got the kind of looks only a mother could love. The Buffalo, that is. Like I said, it is a scale model. It's a first generation World War II, actually pre-World War II design, and one of the first all-metal constructed monoplanes. And they were still learning a lot. But this type of layout, shoulder wing, much like the Wildcat, they make really nice models. They're super, super stable, and they look very cool in my mind.
Was this the first one that came after the pea shooter?
I think it was around the time of the pea shooter.
Oh,
now
right.
The difference with the pea shooter, that was fixed undercarriage. This was retractable,
Yeah.
but it was that odd retract into the belly kind of retract again, just like the Wildcat has.
Complicated one.
Yeah. That being said, it didn't. I mean, there was a scheme that we did before.
Sorry. Answer that for a sec.
When we did the V1, we did a early war scheme, the blue and grey. This is a pre-war scheme again that you see on the V2. But then, in service of the Americans, not great. They didn't do very well. But for example, in service of the Finns, they did very, very well. The Buffalo really, really enjoyed it. And even on the Buffalo against the Russians in the early, the Soviets in the early part of World War II, which they call the Winter War, and then into the continuation war, the second part of World War II for the Finns, they were still enjoying a 10-to-1 kill ratio. So that just proves how good it could be when it's in the right hands. And in terms of the model, that was the history lesson. In terms of the model, yeah, it's flying really, really nice. So let's get into it. I'm going to go full power
Wait,
now.
are you saying this wasn't just a trainer?
No, it was a fighter. It was always a fighter. Always a fighter.
Learn something new every day.
So let's just get into it. This is 3S. We're going to do a full power pass. Here we go. With the Buffalo V2. Scoots around really nicely. I'm still flying it in quite a tight space, banking and yanking. We're going to go up now. Show you the vertical. And up we go. Roll across a bit so you can see the wing. Pretty much unlimited, but I'm going to do a stall turn off of that. That was mid-rate on the roll down there. Speaking of which, let's give you some basic aerobatics. Okay, so let's do low rate roll. Here we go. 1 and 2. That's, even for me, I think that's a pretty high rate. Andres, you commented earlier, I like mine nice and slow. That was quite fast. Now this is high rate. We'll get a little bit higher for this. Ready? And so yeah, it could be aerobatic if you like. That being said, I'm going to do, I think you call it a pop top, do you, Andres? So I'm going to go up high, in high rates, and just stick it. You see?
Silly tumbles.
Silly tumbles.
Always good.
Comes out of it nicely. I was in high rate still there. Brakes on the ESC, as you can see. And there we go. So yeah, if you like to throw it around and mix it up with a little bit of silly aerobatics, it does it very well. Let's get it inverted now. I'm in low rates again, just for cruising around like typical Warbird cruising. Of course, inverted, I don't think the real one would have sustained inverted. I think the engine would have cut. But as you can see from the Buffalo, not a problem, maintaining really, really nicely.
So the special carburetor thing wasn't invented yet then, right?
I think it came a little later.
Did that come with the Spitfire?
Yeah, it came later with the Spitfire, I think, and because I remember the Mark I Spitfire didn't have that. There's a story about a woman who rode a motorcycle and invented that carburetor. I forget what it is now. But anyway, back to the Buffalo. So colour-wise, it's looking great for me. How's it looking for you on camera?
Very good.
That yellow,
Picks up.
we had the option to look at a more, actual war scheme rather than pre-war like this. Problem is, they were very effective in terms of camouflage, and a small model with quite a turn of speed, this is still at half power, you really want something a bit more vibrant, and so we went with the scheme as before, but with the black changing for blue. Another roll there, lovely jubbly. We'll do a loop now.
Did you later show us a stall as well?
Yeah, I will do a loop and then we'll get into that. So this is looping now. Up, 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 up and away. Really nice everyday flyer coming out of that. The stall is pretty much benign. I'm even going to go into mid-rate just to induce it a little more. Okay, so we're into wind. That's the brake. And now I'm going to adjust it a bit. Now I'm feeding up elevator, almost coming to a standstill. And I'm full up now. And it kind of does nothing. So just as you would like, and to prove just how stable it is, I'll fly it slower, using rudder in the turn here. A little bit of crosswind now. If you coordinate the turns, there it is with the rudder. Really get it slowed down really quite well. And the silver propeller really standing out nicely in the sun. I will say there is a spinner included, but I chose not to fly with the spinner just because I think it looks a little bit more authentic. And with a 2200 3S, we'll do a stall turn here, kind of. 2200 3S, you can expect, well, how long have we been flying for now, Andrews?
Well, we did the photos earlier and we flew.
Well, that was on a
really,
different
really
pack. Yeah, absolutely. Photo sessions tend to last a little longer, but I think you can get a good 6 or 7 minutes, and it's cold now, remember.
Yep.
I'll bring it into land now, I think. Actually, you know, I just want to try a knife edge pass. Now, you have to go into high rates for this, pretty much to maintain. It's very twitchy on the aileron now, that's just the way I've got it set, but let's just get it over into, just to prove that it can do it. I'm going to come over now, fly power, leads lots of coupling, but see, it does it. You got that?
It holds it, yeah.
It does it. It's not designed for knife edge, of course, but it does it nicely. All right, with that, I'll bring it into land with the brake on. Just flaring into that, flare, flare, flare. And it bounces along. If you just come this way, we'll just sign off. Throttle cut is on. So there it is. That was the V2 Durafly Buffalo. There will be a link underneath underneath this video, and you can check it out there in this listing. But if you're looking for good, clean, honest, and cost-effective fun, then the Buffalo V2 is right up there with the best of them. It should be very competitively priced, good bang for buck, and just great fun for any kind of flying, really, weather-wise. But just throw it in the back and have it as your go-to grab model. When you're out in the field, 2200 3S, very, very easy, very, very cheap, great model to fly. Looks surprisingly quick. You can experiment with 4S as well, go down to a 9-inch prop, it will certainly do it, but I really like the performance on 3S. That's why we've stayed with 3S on the Buffalo V2. So check out the link below. Thank you very much for watching. We'll look out for your comments below, and I'll see you next time.